All right, so my mother is a middle school science teacher, and she loves to give us, all sorts of wonderful little facts. And one of her little things that she likes to tell us is that there actually is no such thing as cold. Cold is just the absence of heat. But you know what? In my opinion, there are multiple ways to look at the cold. There's cold weather, which we do not have tonight. Thank you, carbon emissions. And but there's also there are cold periods of people's lives, and there are warm periods of people's lives. And last night I got to experience a warm period. And we'll go into the cold. So there's a place in Johnson City called the Acoustic Coffee House, and a lot of people hang out there. And it's a great place. It's where all the fringy, artsy, alternative type people hang out. You would all be there if you were in Johnson City. Well, I was there last night. My friend Travis, said, hey, some of us are drinking. And so I went over there. And I went in to go use the restroom. And not only were my storytelling friends there, my theater friends were in one corner, and my yoga friends were in another corner. So my yoga friend Sarah called me over. She was there with her husband and this man I didn't know. Now let me tell you something about Sarah. I love Sarah to death. Sarah is wonderful. Sarah is the most woo-woo person you could possibly imagine. Tie-dye, Ganesha necklace. I mean, she's rocking it. And her husband, Robbie, is a trip. The last time I had gone to the Acoustic Coffee House, Robbie said, hey, Joshua, come here. I got a question for you. I said, what is it, Robbie? He said, now, if next door we had a dick-sucking class, would you come? I said, Robbie, I can teach that fucking class. But anyway, yeah, that's nice. Anyway, so Sarah says, come here. I want you to meet this man. And there's this man, he's kind of gruff. He's got this long beard and he's got this hat on. And she says, he's my oil man. And I asked what that meant. And he started to tell me that he was the man in town who everybody went to get their essential oils. And he started to tell me this amazing story I won't go into now fully about finding a woman on the side of the road. And I really felt a connection with this man. Oh, he healed her. He helped her. He didn't attack her or anything. He helped this woman. And, I'm a little skeptical about things, but I have a woo-woo side myself. And so I decided that I was going to go to this man's shop. So that was my warm period. It was very nice. It was a great night. But today, I went to this shop, and it's very anonymous. It's hard to find. And I go in, and I see that there he is, sitting down, and he's got his big cowboy hat on. And there are two people sitting across from him. And I could tell they were in some sort of deep conversation. And so I said, oh, should I come back later? And he said, no, you need to stay. You need to stay because this needs to be heard out. Everything is open here. I was a little perplexed by this, but I sat down. There was a young man to the right of me. And this young man, he was in his early 20s. And the oil man, who I'm keeping anonymous by choice, the oil man put his hand, he told him to stretch his hands out. And the young man stretched his hands out, and they were shaking terribly. And so the oil man took some oils, and he started to rub them all over his hands. And he said, all right, we're going to check back in with you here in just a bit. Now tell me what's going on. Well, I came about halfway through, but this young man was in a cold period of life, to be sure. He was a meth addict. He had no teeth. He told me that he would drink a gallon of vodka a day. A whole gallon every day. And on Sunday, this past Sunday, he had been in a car and he'd been driving. He said that he was high on crack cocaine. And he'd been going to shoot someone that had wronged him, in his words. And he got pulled over by the cops. And by some miracle, he wasn't arrested. So he knew in that moment that he'd literally gotten his get out of jail free card. And he decided that he had to turn this around. That was Sunday. Today is Tuesday. So by the time I had seen him, he'd been sober for 2.5 days. And he was shaking terribly. They say the third day is your hardest. And he was shaking so hard. And this oil man was really taking a compassionate but tough approach with him. He was saying, you know, I only do this once. I only do this once. I will get you healed with these oils and the power of the Lord, but I will only be here for you one time. Do you really want this? And this young man who grew up in foster care system, incredibly difficult life, he said, yes, I really want this. He says, I can't remember what happens 6 hours ago. I need this. And by the end of that session, his hands had stopped. I don't know if it was the oils. I don't know if it was because they had helped him calm down. I don't know. But he had stopped. And so, to extend this metaphor just a little bit further, this young man, is in the deepest winter imaginable. But there's a little spring of grass. He's 2.5 days into the seasons changing. Will there be another frost? I don't know. What I do know is that he's giving it a real shot. And that he's trying to get into a home, all those things. I'm actually waiting on a phone call. Maybe he's staying at my place tonight. But that shows that people are willing to fight their way out of the cold.